one example where there was one time Jace got me to do a counseling, coaching for one of the expo fair, I think. Yeah. So so it was somebody that I met for the first time. Yeah, for the first time. So I don't have any prior knowledge of the person, and so does the person don't have any prior knowledge. And she brought her profile, and then so I just started asking, hey, so what do you do in your day job? Okay, then she shared a little bit about her day job. And as she speaks, right, then I realized that she has a frown on her face. I think her job was something related to customer fronting one. So there was a frown on her face. Then I look at her, I glanced at the profile and I was like, oh gosh, certain factors of hers is really quite low. So maybe that frown comes about as she's talking about her role, puts her in a little bit of a discomfort. Then as I go, then I started asking a bit more questions for her to share what were some of the challenges that she's facing. Because the fact that it was a career fair, she's there for a reason, right? So I asked her, so what was your intention when you come to the career fair? And as we started talking and uncovering about her discomfort, she was unsure what was her discomfort. And suddenly she started to almost tear. Yeah, so because it got to a point where she realized that one of her discomfort, and she didn't know that this was her discomfort, is her innate nature is she prefers to interact with small group, only small group. She can interact with small group, she's comfortable, but the job that she is in happens to be majority frontline. And because when she started doing a frontline job, right, naturally she progressed to another company, another job, also frontline. Very natural, right? So she has been stuck in this vicious cycle where she go frontline, and she faced the challenges all the time. And then she has that inability to break out from the mold. And when I started to put into a bit of a context for her and say, well, how do you see yourself in terms of your own personality, vis-a-vis the frontline role. And that's why she started to realize that, oh yeah, because she actually prefers to work in smaller groups, and maybe that is the part that is causing her frustration. And when she started tearing, I almost was thinking, wow, do I have tissue paper? So then so at the end of it, she was very thankful. She said, nobody has ever told me this, but that I think about 30 to 45 minutes interaction, it brought to her own realization about this. And then that's when she said, okay, now then we started talking about how does she frame her past experience of her customer fronting role to be suitable for what do you call internal role, back office role. Because now she finds that if I start to apply for all the back office role, people will say that maybe you are not suitable. So I said, okay, let's work on how do we counter that. And with that, right, she was more able. I think when she walked out of the booth, she was a little bit more confident of at least having that self-awareness. And one thing that she knows that, okay, this is one thing that I can do as I progress out from this. Yeah, so that was one example where I can't really remember using the profile and connecting the dots for the individual about self-awareness and what is an action that they can take for coaching purpose.